Hello, welcome back to the ministry, and we're back for the last few parts of the Witchhunter review. So, picking up where I left off, I was trying to tell you guys that there are things. He showed her a wall of embossed history. There are things in your bloodline, your history, your past that I was explaining that are attached that you may not have wisdom, knowledge, or understanding of, but they're deeply rooted into your past. Remember, I keep repeating that the sins of the father come back on the children for the next what? 4 generations. Repeating back what I said about the 4 generations. Generation can be, think about parental things, which most people start having kids anywhere from 20 to 30. So a generation can literally be every 20 years or every 30 years, depending on when each generation had their kids at. So that could be 80 years for 4 generations or 120 years. Okay? Which, interestingly enough, I'm being reminded of the fact that the Lord promises his children that they can actually live up to 120 years. Just think about that. Look it up. Because my pastor used to always talk about that. Oh, I'm going to live to 120. I'm going to live to 120. I'm going to live to 120. That's 4 generations, depending on how you look at it. And it could be 6 if it's every 20 years. You understand what I'm saying? But catch this. When you look at that generational lineage, there may be something that you did. You may not have done nothing in the 20 years, 30 years, 40 years that you've been living. You had kids. Maybe you didn't have any kids. Maybe you don't know what in the world is going on, but you just know that you haven't had a good streak in your life or anything, and you're trying to figure out where it came from. Did you look at what your mama did? I'm hearing the words destiny leaves clues. Your history leaves clues too. Look at what your mama did. Look at what your daddy did. Some of you may know your father. Some of you may not know your father. I'm just throwing it out there. Then think about what their parents did. You weren't directly in association to what their parents did. You may know your grandparents, but you don't know what they did when they were younger. You don't know what they came into agreement with, so on and so forth. Am I making sense here? And some of you, the great-great-grandparent, they was leaving when you were coming in. If you came in soon enough. They may have already been gone by that time that great-grandparent came in. So think about these things. There is a lineage, and there are things that your mama's mama could have done, your daddy's daddy could have did. And those things are stains on the bloodline. I listen to Tiffany Montgomery, and she always puts it, the blood that was shed in the previous generation. Especially, she talks a lot about abortion and all that kind of stuff. Things that were done throughout the years. Look at the characteristics. And I'm talking about all the characteristics. Heart disease, illnesses. What did family members have? Then look at emotional disorders. Were people violently angry? Were people doing this, that, and the other thing? All of this kind of stuff. Did people commit abortions? Were there no marriages? Was there a consistent level of singleness, but nobody getting married, but everybody having kids outside of wedlock? All of these things are signs of curses that were in the bloodline. Women being violent toward men. Women trying to be lords over men. Viciously being lords over men. parents being evil towards children. All of these kinds of things are curses. Now, I'm going to say something interesting. I was sitting here looking at the note as I was going to continue from where I left off at. He showed her a wall that had a sycamine tree and 5 witches in front of it. The Lord showed me the prayer that I'm going to give you before we end this is a prayer that has, it's anywhere from 15 to 17 segments, might be longer than that. But in it, I sat down and I looked at the overall segments, and it's 5 sections. Okay? She said it, in the movie it was 5 witches, but these are 5 segments. In these 5 segments, what I noticed, it was New Age practices. It was anger, violence, strife, everything that comes under that. It was financial plucking up and everything that comes underneath of that. It was in combination to that, there was an aborting, immobilizing, preventing you from moving forward, the spirit of Pisgah, all that kind of stuff. Lastly, I noticed cut throat, and things that prevented you from speaking. Have you not noticed we've been dealing with that with our God-ordained spouses? I just wanted to throw those things out of there. I'm going to show you something later. I know, you now, if you're paying attention, you're paying attention. So it was 5 type of witches at the foot of the tree. Now, he explained that she had a gift that she did not need to mix a memory potion in order to go into the dream or take him into the dream to find the memory in which he was looking for. But she had to go with him into the spirit, pretty much, in order for him to regain memory. Pause. Him losing his memory. These people operating in bewitchment towards your spouse is trying to make them forget and or hold memory to prevent them from getting realization of 1, who you are, and 2, what they're truly called to do. Wanted to make sure that was a point. Remember, the vision that he had, it was wife, meaning for you, it would be you being the God-ordained wife. 2, daughter, lineage, legacy. 3, field. Where is he called to actually be? Okay? Trying to make him forget that. All right? Now, she talked about she had went into a dream with her brother, and the result of the dream was catastrophic. I'm going to pause here to mention this. I'm being reminded of somebody that I know told me back early on when I was walking, early part of my walk with God. This was a person that I walked very closely with spiritually. And this individual was telling us one day that she had went into a dream state. And when she was in this dream state, and was it a dream? Yeah, I think it was. It was either a dream or prayer. But she entered into a room. And I've heard this said multiple times, that you enter into a room, but if you are not spiritually capable of fighting that battle, this is why sometimes you will catch me say to you guys, I don't know whether I want to give you certain prayers, because if y'all aren't spiritually ready to fight that battle, I've been in this for about good, how many years is this? We coming up on year number 9 of me walking with God. God has trained me spiritually to handle certain things. You can't just go into the spirit realm with certain prayers if you are not aware of what you're doing, because you could be opening a door. This is why these people that want to be up in New Age and say, I want to open my spiritual eye, I want to connect with the spirit realm and the spirits and all of this kind of stuff. You dumb if you go in there, because what you're doing is you're opening a spiritual door and you're going to come into contact with something you don't know what's up there. This is why you don't need to be messing around up in there. The New Age people. Because there are Christians. The young woman was telling a story of the fact that she was in prayer one day. And as she was in prayer with the Lord, she entered a space because she was praying for somebody. And this is one reason this particular individual, she don't pray for everybody. She doesn't pray because if she enters, let's say I live in California, okay? But she live in Minnesota. So if she lives in Minnesota, the gatekeepers in the spirit realm, if she crosses over spiritually to pray for me into the spirit realm and I'm in California, but she can't handle the spirits that are in California, then what door she opens, she can't shut. And she will become attacked by coming into that spiritual space if she wasn't weighted to carry that area. Some people are weighted for specific areas, because this very same person went on vacation one time. And see, she went on vacation and got on a boat. But she got on a boat and it was marine spirits surrounding her. She said, you know how in the Bible, when Jesus got on the boat and they were going across the water and the boat started shaking? She was on a cruise. She said the time that she was on the boat, every night she would go up to the deck and pray. She experienced wind unlike any other while she was on that boat. Real talk. I remember she had come on and did a broadcast before they left the port that day. And when she did a broadcast talking about certain things, that boat started rocking. Okay. She said that when they came back, because she did come on a couple times while they were on the boat, and she looked nervous as I don't know what. And I couldn't figure out, why are you so nervous? She said the spiritual warfare, having been on a boat, I'm talking about that marine spirit, okay? She said that the people on the boat had never experienced rocking like that boat was rocking because she was on it. She said she wasn't never going to get on another boat ever again until she was married to her spouse. Now, me personally, I know that my spouse is good with water. So because he's good with water, I know the Marine King spirit ain't nothing for him. But coming back, do you understand what I'm saying? It's another pastor who is a mentor to one of the pastors I follow, Kim Clement. He passed away several years ago, but another pastor I follow as well, she has the belief that he went into the spirit realm and dealt with something that he wasn't supposed to, and that's why he ain't with us no more. Because she even warned, Dr. Jolynn Whitaker did a video way back. If I can find it, I'll link it in the community post, where she was talking about, do not go into or challenge certain spirits if you don't know what's in their room, nor do you have the spiritual strength to handle it. You understand what I'm saying? So when I do the prayer at the end, which I'm going to link, you have to have the fullness of understanding, know your spiritual level, okay? And I'm going to need you to build up your spiritual strength to go in. But what I'm going to suggest, if you are spiritually weak, okay, and you know you spiritually weak, the person you need to start following now is Tiffany Montgomery. They do a consecration at the beginning of every month. And that prayer call, you can go back and look at last month's prayer call if you want to get understanding. That woman don't play, okay? That's where you're going to build up your spiritual strength to fight this. Because I believe it's last month's prayer call she gave us the prayer in the first place. Okay? So, I'm going to need for you to come into that understanding. Coming back to the movie, she asked him what his wife and daughter's name was. He said, I think one's name was Elizabeth and the other one, I forget what the other one was. And he said he hadn't said their names in a long time. Now, let's see here. So this is the point in which she makes the attempt to go into the vision in order to help him find the information in which he was looking for. I don't know where they went to actually sit and go through the process of this vision. They may have stayed where they were. But move the keyboard. Okay. So he is pulled into the vision of the day that he fought the witch the first time, okay? On that day, the witch grabbed his chest, remember? When she grabbed his chest, she tried to curse him, okay? And in some cases, the curse that was put on your spouse is a curse that came from their lineage. Remember, 4 generations back. Your spouse may not know. It could come from the mother's side. It could come from the father's side. Bowl for Christ did a video. I always say I'm going to do this, but what I'm going to try to do is when I sit down to put these up, I'm going to put the links to the videos. I'm going to make a note to put a link to the videos I talked about in the community post, okay? I'm either going to do one post with all links or several posts with the links of each video, okay? And you will see the videos. If I forget to put the videos in each individual video, which I probably will. So, point of this video. Bowl for Christ did a video where she talked about the parental lineage and the parental lineage doing witchcraft on the next generation, okay? Whether it was for status, whether it was to hold the person in place, whatever it was, they did witchcraft on that next generation, okay? It could have been the next, it could have been the following generation. I personally know for myself, there was something done few generations back for money, for the spirit of mammon, in relation to the women and their wombs. Every generation prior to myself has had something go wrong with their uterus and or dealt with cancer, okay? I ain't been sitting up here breaking all these curses for none of that stuff that have broken off of me. I know I'm good because I've been breaking them. As Dr. Jolene Whitaker talks about, she says that the curse ran into you and they ran into the wrong one, okay? I break curses. I don't sit with them. I don't have tea with them. I don't, all those types of things. But I noticed, I'm going to tell you, the generation that my mother, my actual birth mother was on, every one of them are dead. Not from age. All of them ran into some kind of weird experience that caused them all to die. I have had 3 cases in my life where it was a case of death tried to take me out. When I was born, I lost 10 minutes of oxygen. When I was 7 years old, I got pneumonia. 6 years ago, I fell off of an escalator and was thrown 10 feet. Okay? This ain't no joke. So when I tell you these curses exist, they exist. It's an attempt to take you out. Okay? So when she grabbed his chest, she spoke a curse over him. Now remember, this is 1,800 years later. This is why he needed to go into his memory. He couldn't remember something that happened back then. Okay? So in this memory, he goes back to the day that he was with her. Remember, the fire went all around about them. Zechariah 2 and 5, remember? There's fire around all about her. The fire was around them, and she grabbed his chest. They actually were infused. His people came, because there were some survivors left after the previous battle that located. They didn't know. They saw I guess there was a second group to come, and they thought everybody had died. But when they came to him, the team was like, okay, they see the wreckage, they see the tree, they see she's burnt up, they see him laid over. Same burn she has, he has. But when they go to stab her chest, they pull her heart from her chest, the literal heart, and it actually was still beating, okay? When this happens, they were going to stab it through to make sure the heart was destroyed. But when they tried to press the sword through the heart, he started screaming. They looked at him, started to press it a little further, he screamed more. The witch, whoever this person is that may have attached themselves to your ordained spouse, they have created such a level of soul tie that it literally hurt them every time they try to separate themselves from this individual. Remember, I'm even going to go back to talking about, remember the movie with Martin Lawrence? The Thin Line Between Love and Hate? Remember, she would not allow him to leave her because the spiritual soul tie that was created in them having physically slept together. Okay, go watch the video I talked about. It's already in the community post. With the witchcraft that happens on marriages. That these individuals will shoot arrows up right into the heart. I'm actually going to have to link that video. It's a video that was done by Stephanie P as well, where she talks about the arrows being directed emotionally to your kingdom spouse's heart to keep them from moving forward. Okay? So, with that being said, every time they tried to stab the heart, it was hurting him. This woman, whoever she was, women, witches, whatever they were trying to hold his heart attached to theirs. So anytime he attempted to leave them, I got something I got to talk to y'all about. I'll probably do it after I finish this review, because I got to finish this review. That the Lord showed me in a court case this morning and recognized it was a court case. So these things have been put on trial before the Lord, okay? But what it is this. It was a fear in that moment that if they destroyed her heart, then therefore they would kill him. So they didn't destroy the heart. They took the sword out of the heart and then went to try to help him. He comes out of the vision and was livid. He goes back to the assistant priest, the priests that were placed, his priest, and starts screaming. They never destroyed the heart. Her heart is still in existence. And the little priest is like, oh my God, I mean, they knew, but see, and then it's like, they didn't destroy it. That heart still is in existence. He said, well, yeah, Meanwhile, after all this is happening, the guy, remember the blind man that released the bugs in the restaurant earlier in the movie? He was leaving the place. And the guy, the one that was acting as, he knew how to use the bewitchment in order to use fear to cover your eyes, to create an enchantment that made you see what he wanted you to see. That guy that's been chasing him the whole movie, he goes to the guy that can't see and he snatches him out the alley. And he's like, what are you doing here? Oh my God, why are you here? And he's got his box and he got his bugs and all that kind of stuff. And the guy grabs him because remember, he's the first person he went to. He's the one that he came to in the first place to get the bugs in order to do the enchantment to the priest's apartment the night that he attempted to kill him, remember? Because remember, the witch hunter had to find him and he said, remember he said to the guy, this man makes you more afraid of him than me. You're more afraid of him than me. Remember? This is that guy. This is the guy that went after him. So he's standing in the alley like, look, I know that we had it. And he's like, he didn't even talk to him. You hear the darkness. There was a view of the alley, meaning you could see the alley ahead of him that he was going to head down towards the street, right? Now it turns into darkness. The only light is the street light that they were standing under. And you can hear the demons in the atmosphere around them growling. Anybody seen the movie Ghost? I may have to do a review on that, y'all. You know the Patrick Swayze movie? Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, where the ghost with the dark spirits was out in the back alley and they used to just consume. Okay. Well, that's what this was. The demons were in the darkness. They literally had become a hedge of darkness around them. And they pulled him into the darkness, okay? His bag, all the bugs, all that stuff fell, okay? Now, what ends up happening next is the witch hunter, he knows he needs to go and put her in a safe place. Your God-ordained spouse, to some degree, has understanding that God has put you in a safe place. Some of y'all have been in a level of isolation and you have been trying to figure out, God, why the heck am I in this level of isolation? It seemed like I get freedom. I can go out to the cafe. I can do whatever. And then all of a sudden you pull me back into a level of isolation for weeks, for months, for a series of period. And we're like, why? Well, remember I told you about somebody was telling a story about the time that they ended up, they were in a location, they released something, then the Lord pulled them out for 24 hours. Only for them to go back 24 hours later. When God puts you in a place for a moment, sometimes he puts you there because he needs to protect you. The witch hunter told her to go to a secure location to protect her, okay? Meanwhile, that guy that had just took the bug dude that had all the bugs with the butterflies and stuff like that was blind, he took him to where the tree was. Evidently, the tree needed something living to gain access. The vines of the tree began to warp around this guy because he tied the guy to the tree. Then he took the woman's heart, the old heart, and put it on the ground. And now I do not know if it was graveyard dirt used or what it was. But he took the heart and put it down. When he put the heart down, the heart became part of the ground and became part of the root system of the tree, therefore giving the roots life again. And the tree began to consume this man. Okay? Hold on. I'll get revelation for myself. You want me to repeat it? For some of you, what the enemy has done is he, them, what have you, because it's satanic curses. The satanic curse, the root, the heart of the problem, the very root system, the generational thing, the strong man, the stronghold, this thing is connected to the roots of this tree. Remember, I've been showing you the picture. You want me to show them the picture again, Lord? Hold on. Okay, the tree. You see this tree? I drew out a tree. Now, remember I just told you about the 5 areas and all that kind of stuff. This tree, I wrote down everything that I knew from the list of things from that prayer that are in relation to my family, my God-ordained spouse, things that I have seen, witnessed, had understanding of, certain things that I knew were root systems and strongholds in the family, and the attachments that may have been visual from the let's say branches of the tree. Then I also wrote the strong man root that things were attached to. Okay, your God-ordained spouse had those. All right. All of those things became something that was consuming him. In order for your spouse to actually be set free, he had to confront the strong man. This is what was holding him. I'm about to go to the next part because I got to move to the next one. All right. So I'm going to be right back.